everyone and welcome to Obsidian Soft. Before we start, let me quickly show you what we are building today. As you can see, when the app opens, we first get a clean splash screen with a progress bar and a loading indicator. The app is fetching data in the background, and instead of a blank screen, the user clearly knows something is happening. And once the loading is complete, we smoothly move to the main screen where all the data is displayed. Now, if we don't use the splash screen, what usually happens? When data is loading from Google Sheets, CloudDB or Firebase, the screen often stays completely blank for a few seconds. From a user's perspective, that doesn't feel like loading. It feels like the app is broken. And this isn't just limited to data apps. Even in games, when assets are loading, there's always that awkward delay where the user has no idea what is going on. As developers, we know everything is working, but the user doesn't. And that is exactly where good UI and user experience design comes in. Instead of showing a blank screen, we use a splash screen with progress indicators like a linear progress bar or a circular loader to give proper feedbacks, just like professional apps. In this tutorial, I will show you exactly how to build this splash screen step by step using real data from Google Sheets, okay? So first of all, we need a Google Sheet with some data in it. I have about 1000 rows of this car data and it has multiple columns too. So this takes about 2 to 3 seconds to load, and this will be longer if your network is slower. Earlier, if you had not been using a splash screen, your list view would have stayed empty for a few seconds, okay? But now we will have a proper splash screen. Unfortunately, this filling up progress bar that I showed you in the demo does not work for Samsung devices. It's a known issue. It works for all other devices and even iPhones, okay? So let's begin. To read this Google Sheet, I have to first of all share it. So click on the share button, okay? And in this general access, choose anyone with the link and then click on this copy link button, okay? Click on done. And in some text editing software like Notepad, copy this URL, okay? And this is very important, and I have covered this before too, that you have to replace the part edit $USP is equal to sharing with export format is equal to CSV. So export format is equal to CSV. Now Control A, Control C to copy it, this link. And let's go to MIT App Inventor, go to projects, start a new project. Let's call it splash screen app. Keep the toolkit default, click on OK. Now I'm going to upload a vertical image file that I generated in ChatGPT, okay? Click on OK. And then in Screen 1's properties, make align horizontal and align vertical, both center, and in the background image, choose the uploaded media. From the user interface palette, drag and drop a label onto the viewer. Rename it to status label. Click on OK. Make font bold, font size 30. And the text color should be white. From the user interface palette, drag and drop a circular progress. Change the color to magenta. Click on save. And then below it, drag and drop a linear progress. Okay. And at this point in time, it is set to indeterminate. Indeterminate means that it will just have a loading animation. But what I want to have is that I want it to fill up slowly and it reaches the end point, okay? So I am going to uncheck this checkbox and then I am going to choose the progress color to be green. I'm going to make its width 90%, okay? And the maximum should stay 100 and the minimum should stay 0, but make sure that you turn off indeterminate. From connectivity, I need a web component, and in its URL, I'm going to paste that updated URL with export ? format is equal to CSV that we got from Google Sheets and then we changed in Notepad, okay? This one. And we also need from sensors a clock component, okay? And I'm going to turn off timer always fires and timer enabled, and I'm going to make the time 60 milliseconds. I will also add a few empty labels for spacing between all these other components, okay? So I'm just going to make the height 2% and remove all text from it, okay? So this is the way to add spacing between components in MIT App Inventor and even in other user interface designs too in other programming languages, okay? So Control C, Control V to duplicate it, and then drag this one here, okay? So I have added 2 space labels here and here, okay? And this screen is done, so let me quickly add screen 2. Click on OK. And here I'm just going to make the background color black and align horizontal center, okay? And I'm going to add just a label, font bold, font size 25, and the text can be car data, and the text color is white, okay? And then I'm going to just drag and drop a list view below it, and in its properties, this list view layout, I'm going to change it to main text, detail text, horizontal, okay? So let me choose screen 1 again, and as the design is done, let's go to the block section. We need a few global variables. So this is sheet data, just an empty list in the beginning. Right click, duplicate. This is progress. It is a math 0 block, and this is for simulating the progress moving in the linear progress component, okay? When screen 1 is initialized, we set our status label to a text block that says loading data, okay? And we set a linear progress, this one, to whatever value is inside progress, which we know is 0 in the beginning, okay? And we also enable our clock because we want the progress to start moving in the linear progress bar, okay? So if I go down, I have clock.timer enabled and I make it true, okay? And then I call web.get. So this call always triggers got text event of web, so I can get that. But before I fill that up, let me work on my clock's timer event. So remember, it runs after every 60 milliseconds once we enable the timer. So clock and this timer event will be triggered after every 60 milliseconds, okay? Here, what we're going to do is that using the control if then else block, we are going to first of all check that whether my progress is still less than 70. What I have in mind is that if the progress is less than 70, it will fill up faster, and towards the end it will slow down. Okay, so to give a nice sophisticated effect of progress filling up. So from math, get the equal to block, choose less than here. Again, from math, get the number block and type in 70 here. And if I hover over progress, I can get the get block for it. So if progress is less than 70, I am going to add a 10 to it, okay, to make it move a bit faster. Okay, so variables, set block, progress, math, plus block, plug in the value of progress, and then right click, duplicate the number block, and I'm going to put in 10 here. So in this case, when it is still less than 70, I'm going to increment it. Increment means adding a number to it. So I'm going to increment it by 10. And if it is now more than 70, I am going to slow it down and make this 5, okay? And in all cases, I have to update it visibly on the screen too. I need to update the progress for my linear progress to the updated value of progress, okay? Now we come to our web's got text event. So here we are. And what's the code here? First of all, I'm going to check that I was successful in loading some data from my Google Sheet, right? So from control, get the if then else block, and from logic, get the and block, okay? And again from logic, get the equal to block. And I'm going to first of all check that my response code is equal to 200, okay? So this means that the request to the web was successful, and we also ended up with data. So how to check that? Right click, duplicate, and now remember that you have to change this to response content, and we check that our response content is not empty. So we are checking that our response code is equal to 200 and our response content is not equal to empty, okay? If one of these conditions is not met, that means there was some error, and in that case, I am going to update my status label in the else block to fail to load data. Okay? In all cases, whether it is success or failure, we are going to hide all those progress components. Okay? So how can we do that? Circular progress. If I click on that, go down, get its visible block, okay? Make sure that you are outside the if then else block and set it to false. And then the linear progress, same thing, we have to hide that too. Right click, duplicate, false, okay? And what else? We are going to disable our clock. So timer enabled, duplicate, false. Now, if it was successful, what are we going to do? We are going to first of all set our progress variable to 100. Actually, can duplicate this 200 and change to 100. Okay, and linear progress. Set the progress, right click, duplicate, and choose progress here. So now it will fill up completely because remember our maximum for our linear progress is 100. So I have set it to the maximum. Okay. And then I am going to set my sheet data to a list from the comma separated values returned in the response content. I have already covered what are comma separated values, how are they converted into a list, more specifically this block, in very much detail in my previous tutorial about loading quiz from Google Sheets. So if you want to learn more about this block and what is actually happening in it, you can have a look at that tutorial. Okay, so right click, duplicate. So my response content is coming in CSV form and it will be converted into a list, a two-dimensional list, and then set in the sheet data. Okay, and then I'm also going to hide my status visible. So right click, duplicate. Where did the duplicate one go? Oh, here it is. And then I'm going to finally open my screen 2. So from control, if I go down, I have this block open another screen with start value. So remember to use this one. Okay, and make sure that you choose screen 2 here, and the start value is our sheet data. We have to send it to the second screen. So duplicate this response content get block, but make sure that you choose sheet data here. Okay, so we are sending the sheet data to our screen 2. So our screen 1 is done. So let's now choose screen 2. Simple code here, a global variable data. Okay, and I'm going to initialize it to, from control, if I go down, I have this get start value. Okay, so this will get the data that is being sent from screen 1. Okay, and then in screen 2's initialize event, what I'm going to do is that I am going to put this data inside my list view. Okay, and how to do that? From control, get the for each item in list block, and the list is my data. Okay, and I'm going to use list views add item block. Okay, and the main text here is in my Google Sheet. So in my first column, I have the model, and in my 6th column, I have the engine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want to show that. So first column and 6th column. Okay. So my main text is the model name or full model. So from lists, get the select list item block, and the list is my item. Because remember, each item in our global data is a row. Okay, and in this row, in the first position I have the model name, full model, and in the 6th position I have the engine. So math 1. Okay, and right click, duplicate, and this is 6. Okay, and the image name, I'm just going to keep it empty. Okay, so this will fill up the list view with all the relevant data, that is the first column and the 6th column data. Okay, and this is it. This completes the tutorial. I hope you found this simple but polished way of handling data loading in MIT App Inventor useful. You can apply this pattern anywhere there is a delay in loading data, such as games, list views, or even HTML table-based apps covered in a previous video. Happy coding! Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss the great projects that I've planned for you. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and goodbye.